What's good, world? It's another Monday, so you know what that means. The Words with Friends podcast is back. I go by the name of Jabari. And for those that don't know, you can donate to the podcast, all right? You can leave the podcast a tip. Go to patreon.com/Jabari. You can leave a tip for as little as $1 if you're getting inspiration, if you're enjoying these podcasts. And most importantly, that ensures that I can keep the podcast coming to you guys each and every Monday with new, interesting folks, some of my friends who are doing really cool things, amazing things. And yeah, so go to patreon.com/Jabari and leave a tip to the Words with Friends podcast. Cool. With that being said, man, I got a great group of people with me today. Man, I'm just going to let these folks introduce themselves, but you may know them as Dormtainment. So, guys, I got 3 of the 7 members right here.
6.
Oh, 6. Okay, 6. It used to be 7?
No,
it was never 7? Okay.
Yeah.
3 of the 6. Introduce yourself, guys.
Rome Green.
I go by the name of Mike Dan. Mike Dan, goddamn Mike Dan.
I'm just Tay. I'm just Tay.
Just Tay. Okay.
Sorry.
You not Tay down?
Yeah, I'm not Tay down. I don't have a last name. I'm just Tay.
Man, first off, guys, so, you know, I like to always start with how I was sort of introduced to people, and I think, you know, just being, you know, fellow YouTubers, man, I started seeing you guys just for doing like these funny skits on YouTube, and I'm trying to think of what the first one was I saw. It might have been the Jamaican, like dating a Jamaican or something like that, which I think was like one of your most popular skits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, how did you guys? Well, you know, you guys are comedians. You do. You have a YouTube channel with incredible skits, comedy, all that stuff. How did you guys link up? And was it? I mean, Dormtainment. I'm assuming it was in college.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess long story short, Cam, which is another member, he's brothers with Chaz.
Okay.
And Cam and Mike Dam, are best friends.
Okay.
So those 3 are from Miami. Cam moved to college to go to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta. Tay moved to Atlanta. Amanda moved to Atlanta.
Wait,
Okay.
You said Cam moved to college to go to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Cam moved to Atlanta to go to
college.
college. A little dyslexic sometimes.
I caught it too. I was just gonna let it
I'm a
run.
little dyslexic.
I've heard worse on the podcast from me, especially.
So that's kind of how we all met up, and then Chaz moved up from Miami, and Mike moved up. We all just kind of linked up like that.
Okay. And what school was this that you guys all went to?
Art Institute of Atlanta, Georgia State, and Brown Mackey College.
Oh, okay. So this is all. I mean, this is like explain for people that don't know. I mean, I've been to Atlanta a few times, but like explain the whole sort of like collegiate aspect of Atlanta. How
It's
there's a lot of
schools.
overlap, and you know, people kind of are friends from different campuses and all that stuff.
Really, you just go downtown because Georgia State's in the middle of downtown.
Yeah.
So Art Institute is like 20 minutes out on the outskirts of downtown. So,
Okay.
you know, whenever you want to see the girls, you leave from the outskirts, go down,
Gotcha.
go down to downtown, and that's where everybody kind of hangs out at. And you got to cut the clubs, and the AUC is down there with Clark and Spellman and all that stuff. So that's kind of how people mix and mingle and know everybody.
Okay. And now, you guys are such a big group. It's like, were you all just like cracking jokes with each other? Were you all like, how did you know that everybody was funny? And you know, how did you know to like say, oh, let's turn this into something?
Well, I don't think we knew her. I don't even know. I just know everyone enjoys each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could say that. And so like the stuff we were doing weren't to appeal to a mass audience. It was just to make us laugh.
Yeah.
And our friends, our close friends, if anything. Like at the time, they made like these funny videos that they put on Facebook. I wasn't even in Atlanta yet. I was in Miami. I was a fan before I was even in Dormtainment. A lot of people don't even know that. Like I used to come home from work and watch their videos. Like so, I know how fans feel.
Yeah.
You know, and I know when they don't get a video how they feel too, because that's how I used to be about them.
We were posting on Facebook before the like button.
So it was just comments. Like you couldn't like a video, it was just comments.
Wow.
But they used to do these free freestyles like in the dorm for like just like 40 minutes and post it on Facebook, and I used to just sit there and just laugh and just be like, yo, these dudes are hilarious. I wish I was there. You know?
Yeah.
And then it made it worse because your best friend is up there. It's like, damn, man.
So when I came to visit in Atlanta, I was like, yo, I gotta get me a video.
Yeah. Got you. So okay, so how did you guys in those early days, you know, were you even thinking about like building a fan base, or were you even thinking about like, yo, this thing could be a career, or was it just literally just we want to make our friends laugh, let's do that?
It was more so that, but the other thing was we all kind of wanted to have a business, and we wanted to do a non-profit at first. But then we found out that you had to have a profit to start a non-profit.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out. But we was like, you know what, just put it on hold. So then we were in Atlanta, and we were like, you know what, this is club promotion capital. So let's do some club promotion. You know, we can do this.
Yeah.
So we did our first party, and about how many people showed up, Theyve?
I would say roughly probably like 1 to 2, probably.
Yeah.
No. Maybe, no, was it 0?
It might as well have been zero because
somewhere between 0 and 2.
Okay.
Because it didn't go good at all. It was terrible. So we was like, you know what? That's not our thing.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we started doing the Facebook, and then we realized, you know, we can turn this into a business. We can just keep doing these videos. I know YouTube was fairly new at the time, so
give me a year around this time. What is this? What when are we looking like?
We was making the very first video that I put on Facebook was 07.
Okay. Yeah.
And then around 09 is when the business started.
Okay.
When the business started. So between like 08 and 09 is when we kind of figured out, okay, we can make something out of this. And then one of the guys in the group, well, Cam and Chaz, their aunt does like legal things, so she helped us get our business license and tax ID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How is it? I always wonder this, right? Because I, on the one hand, for a lot of things, I work with my friends, but on the other hand, I don't work with my friends on a lot of things. How is it working with friends? Like, is that what are the pros and cons to working with your friends?
I don't know if it's too many.
We'll see.
For us, it's different.
Yeah, for us, it's different because we kind of understand each other and we use that in the business. Like a lot of friends, they don't like if having friends in business is very risky. You know what I mean? Because you're much more connected to it. You know, it's much more personal. But we know each other, we understand each other, and like on the inside, all of us are pretty. You know, none of us have a big egos. None of us, you know, we have a big collective ego. But,
but I think best thing, we weren't put together. You know, like making the band and stuff. How they put people together. We weren't. Put, we just kind of.
So we grew.
Shout out to Chopper.
Dial-on.
Well, yeah. So I think that's the best part, that we weren't put together. We kind of just ended like.
As far as this love and work, I love it. Like thinking about, remember when you used to have, I don't know who has a 9 to 5 right now, but if you do, I remember when I used to have a 9 to 5, this was one guy at work that you always used to go to work for, and you and him would always crack jokes. There's always that one person at work that you would love when they work with you.
Yeah.
I have that with 5 people, you know what I'm saying? It's like I wake up every day and I know I'm going to laugh. I know I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
I know, you know, we're going to get work done, but at the end of the day, I'm going to have fun with my friends.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the best thing about
it. And that's when it doesn't feel like work, right?
Not at all.
Like every day, man, even myself, man, I'm super happy that I'm doing these things that I want to do them. Like, I wake up and, I mean, I try to meditate and, like, I try to, like, take a walk and do things like that. But, like, once I get done with that, and I go to work, it's all the way up until the minute I go to sleep. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And it's like the day is mine and nobody else's. You know what I mean? And like there's no feeling like just, you know, putting in all that stuff and essentially just like chipping away at goals, right? Yeah. Because it's like it never ends. Like this journey, it's like you never get to a point where you're like, I made it. I'm done.
Yeah. You know, you shouldn't get to that point. Some people would feel like they got that point.
When I'm 80, I hope I get to that point. If I'm not, I would understand it. It's an artist's drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even to this point, like now, I used to be at home. Like 3 years ago, I think we would all be at home. Like we would drop videos weekly, but we wouldn't really be doing much. We'd drop a video, and then it would be like throughout the week, we'd just be chilling.
Yep.
Be like, damn, I wish I could have some stuff to do. I wish we had some business we could work on.
Yeah.
You know, and then now it's to the point where we actually know there's not 1 minute where you could not be working on something.
Wish you could hand some business tasks off to somebody.
Yeah, now it's like.
So let's talk a little bit about that, right? So what exactly is the business model and structure like for you guys? Like, what are some of those day-to-day tasks that people don't see aside from you guys putting up weekly videos?
I mean, we wake up every. Well, no, we don't wake up. So a lot of us, I wake up at 6. So a lot of them wake up at 7. You know, we got people sleeping in the living room and stuff. So everybody wakes up, works out, and then we start the work day at 10, and then we keep going until we need to stop. It usually stops around
This
afternoon.
Because you burn yourself out after
Especially it's comedy too. So like, you know, you can't work on comedy for too long. Like, get still. Keep reading the same jokes. It's not funny anymore.
We've been doing this structure for about 2, almost 3 years now. And before, we would just, like I said, Mike, we would just drop a video and go about our business. But then we was like, something ain't right, something ain't. Yeah. We gotta set it. It's a business, so we gotta treat it like a business. And once we did that, like, stuff started.
I'm talking about the month that we did
that.
The month we started working, like everything was just like everything built up. So as soon as we established the system,
So I guess walk me through what that system looks like in terms of, like, you know, is it you guys pitching jokes to each other, writing stuff down, acting it out? How does it work?
Well, let me start with conversation.
Yeah.
First of all, we talk. Like, we'll be in the middle of, like, you know, reading a contract agreement, start a conversation, and go off tangent, you know what I mean? Okay. And that's how we kind of keep it, you know, we're still comedic, you know. But, it starts with a conversation. That's how we learn what things are funny to us and what things are, you know, what jokes can be good, and we can build a skit around that, you know.
Nice, okay.
And then, I don't know if you want to chime
in. I mean, basically, like, if it's a Monday, say Mike wrote a skit, come to us and like, hey guys, we got this idea for a skit. We'll read it, or we'll say who has ideas for the week. We'll throw out all the ideas we got. We're like, okay, well, this is feasible for this week because, you know, we might have some on this day, so this is feasible. We'll go through. We'll chop up the jokes. We might be like, oh, that'd be funny. Put that here. Put that there. Yeah. And we'll go through, read the script, and then we'll like, okay, we got it. Now, what days can we shoot? Then we'll go out and shoot. This is what we do. And then we said, like, at the beginning, it's usually business, so we usually go through our email, check our email, whatever we got to respond to, and then from there we'll go and figure out, okay, what's the skit for this week and stuff like that. So,
what happens if somebody comes to the table with, like, something that's whack, something that's not good, or something that's not funny? What do you guys then do?
Well, honestly, nothing. I don't think anybody has ever come with anything that's like that whack, like amongst us. Because I mean, like, we all are pretty much, we all have a standard for ourselves. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but if anyone comes with anything, we all know that anything we come with is not 100%.
Yeah.
If I write something and I feel like it's the best thing, it's 80%. Because when they come, they're gonna say, okay, that joke doesn't need to be in there, or it can be better, or that, you know, that's offensive, or whatever. Like, we all help each other out. So. You can never say no one came with anything whack, but there is some things that need to be polished more than others.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Everybody has their teams, even, like, you know, people, Adam Sandler, Judd Apatow, all these people have their teams of people that I know they're not in their house doing it by themselves. They go like, hey, look, read this for me and let me know what you think, or you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, it's like that quote, right? I think it's like, nothing good is ever written, it's always rewritten.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, that's with me and my stuff, like, everything that I do, man, there's like a team of, whether it's my friends, whether it's some of my business partners, everybody is looking at something before it goes out to the public. You know what I mean? But even though it's coming from Jabari, it's coming from, like, Jabari and 5 other people.
Right.
And that's good for you and for us as well, like, to keep people around you whose taste you trust.
Yeah,
that's gonna get so many different opinions. Like, I could meet a comedian today who could be the top comedian, and he could say something mine is trash just because he doesn't like that necessarily that topic or something like that. You know what I mean? So you gotta get people who you trust to be around you to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, you know absolutely. Who are some other people that you guys sort of, like, respect outside of yourselves, like, in the comedy space? Like, you know, and let's take it from, like, a great's perspective, but then let's take it to, like, some, you know,
people now.
And now on this sort of, like, ground level YouTube, or, you know, just, like, up and coming.
So start from the greats.
Start from the greats.
Oh man, well, I don't know chronologically.
We're not in school anymore.
But Dave Chappelle is definitely one.
Yeah.
Oh,
He sticks out for me. He's my like Richard Pryor because when I was growing up, he was that guy.
Yeah.
So we all have difference, but mine's Dave Chappelle. I mean, of course, Eddie Murphy and writers too, like Judd Apatow and Seth Rogen, people who produce and write their own comedy. We really look up to people like that, and I'm pretty sure we have.
I like one thing that really kind of molded my taste in comedy was The Simpsons, because we used to always watch them on Simpsons. They showed 2 reruns back, so I would watch it pretty much religiously, like for years. Me and my brothers and sisters. So So I sometimes when I write stuff, I write it like a cartoon, and I know sometimes I know when there's a joke influenced by The Simpsons, so I stop myself. So yeah.
Also, like for me, the deeper you get into comedy, is like you start to realize you get different things from different shows, like stuff that we study, like Freaks and Geeks. I've just started like rewatching that. It's a lot of story in there, and that necessarily might be the most funniest comedy. But it's good story, and then like something like Modern Family might have a lot of slapstick jokes, but everything serves its purpose. You just got to know what to get out of everything, and you'll enjoy it more.
Nice.
But
what about you, Ron?
I like the Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, another one. Louis C.K. because he's risky. He's real.
Yeah. He's wild, man. I love Louis C.K.
But he keeps it real. Like he has a real tone. So
do you watch Louis the show?
Yeah. It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, sometimes it's even super sloppy, right? Like even like sometimes there's like mishaps with the edit because he edits it.
He edits it,
but like I don't know. I kind of like that rawness.
Yeah, that's what people want. I mean,
and that's what you need. That's what I feel like even in TV, movies, radio, everything, and entertainment, I feel like we've gotten to the point where there's kind of a unbalance when it comes to, things that are specifically made for people to like very big pop things and things that, are a little more raw,
Yeah.
So I definitely think there needs to be more balance when it comes to
that. And I think everybody, now we're in this time where there's so much stuff, right? And there's so much stuff to compete with, right? It's like, to compete with something that has $1 million to shoot each episode, it's hard to do that, right? So it's like, why compete with that? And like, instead, you can do something that, like you said, is a little more raw, and it's not as polished and not as clean. Maybe a little rough around the edges, but it's still hitting home with the jokes. It's still hitting home with like the content. It's still, I think that I try to tell people who are like, man, what do I do? Like, what's the first step in terms of like me getting to this point? I always tell people, just do it. Whatever it is. Like, I don't care if you're trying to make a documentary. Like, a lot of people come up to me and like, or shoot me emails. Like, nobody's coming to me in the street. Like, hey man, how do I make a documentary? It's all email, right? But a lot of people that ask these questions or like, how do I do whatever? Just like, shoot something. Obviously, you can't just shoot it on your phone and like, put it out and expect for it to pop. But like, whatever means you have, whatever tools that you have to create. You know what I mean? That's essentially what it's about, right? So, so up and comers. Who are some up and comers that you guys are enjoying right now?
Gerard Carmichael.
Okay, I gotta check them out.
Yeah.
We just recently worked with a girl named Esther. I went back and rewatched some of her stand-ups, and it was actually pretty funny.
Esther, what's her last name?
I'm not sure. Actually,
she goes by Little Esther.
Little Esther. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you guys got something coming out with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, it's a lot of new guys I like, and I think more, to be honest, like I kind of like certain types of comedy, and more of the comedians I like are on the internet,
Yeah.
Like, they create more for the internet than
Who's some of these?
I mean, like I like how Patton Oswalt does his whole thing. He got the Twitter popping, and then his Twitter beefs get on other sites because it's like and then he does this whole thing. Like I like him.
Nathan Fielder.
Nathan Fielder.
He has a show on Comedy Central called Nathan for You.
Okay.
You should watch that. He's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some people that I'm enjoying, up and comers, that are I like this guy. His name is Amir. What's his last name? He's from Australia.
He had like a black
he had a bit about like reverse racism that went pretty viral. Did you guys see that?
He's biracial, right? He has an accent, right?
No, he's not. I think he's just he is Sri Lankan, I think, Indian.
He was talking about he was talking about how it's the connection between the because I saw it on Tumblr.
It was super funny, man. He's one of the guys that I'm paying a lot of attention to now. Who else is doing some dope stuff? Trying to think. Up and comers, like new comedians.
Oh, we definitely Issa Rae, of course.
Of course.
And the whole Black and Sexy crew.
Of course. You know, shout out to them. That's fam right there.
Yeah.
I love what they're doing. And you guys in Rome in
that guy.
That guy. Yeah. If you guys haven't watched that, go to YouTube. I had Dennis from Black and Sexy on the podcast as well. So, okay. So, all right. Speaking of YouTube, then, so I have some stuff I want to talk to you guys about YouTube. So, so your most popular video on the channel is the Harlem Shake video. and that was, it's literally titled like, and for those that don't remember or know, I don't know how you could know. This was like 2 years ago. The Harlem Shake was like super popular, that dance. Not the original Harlem Shake, but the new dance from Bauer and Just Blaze song. So anyways, everybody was doing this dance. It was going viral, and you guys did that 30-second video, and it was called the Harlem Shake, the first black version. So, let's talk a little bit about, like, I guess, riding the wave of trends.
On YouTube. See, that's interesting. Because even like when you bring it up now, it's kind of just has a little ish, just a little bit. I still like it. It's still funny, the baby in there and everything.
But how we discovered it a lot.
Because look, this is how you know how trends work. You know, you get the initial people, and then it goes big, and then everybody hates it. And then, if you did it, you whack. You know?
That's literally the lifespan of a trend.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how the American system goes through everything, you know. But I feel like that one, like, we saw it when it first happened. We saw the first video. I saw the video when it had like 30,000 views, and it was shared. And because I'm just in the internet like that. So but I brought it to them, and then they was like, "Shit, let's do it." And we did it, and then it, like everybody's like, "What is this? What is this? Oh, it's this new thing." And then what else happened with that?
A week later, everyone started doing it. It was just like getting to the point where, all right, come on now. And everybody was putting out Harlem Shake videos, and then people were even asking us when we gonna put out ours, not knowing we already did one already.
And then that's kind of like we. In a good way, it's good and bad because. In a way, like, we did that, we loved it, and it got a hell of views. Yeah. Then another way, that's our biggest video, and that's not how we want to be represented. Just because it's just something we just did on a whim.
Nothing to do with it.
But it's our big, and it's kind of like how music artists make hits sometimes. It's like, movies and everything. You end up making money. So then you attract that, and then if you attract that audience, do you keep working for that audience, or do you just say, do you just do yourself and go back to your regular life?
Well, what happened, I guess? So did you guys get a lot of people that watched that video that then became fans of your other stuff?
Probably some. It's hard to tell how many.
It wasn't a lot, to be honest.
It probably wasn't.
It wasn't a lot. Yeah. When our fans like us, they stick. Yeah. And when people just come for just a video,
you can tell people are just watching Harlem Shake videos. We popped up, they watched it, and they kept moving. I mean, it's part of the game.
I think that's it. The YouTube game. The YouTube game, man.
It's stressful, bro, with a K.
So let's talk more about that, man, because that's the sort of lane that we're all in, and there's. Oh man, the YouTube game is something that is like, it's stressful, and it's like, tell people though, let's for those that don't understand like what it means to sort of like build a following on YouTube and like, see success on YouTube. So how did you guys, or when did you guys start taking it seriously, and what was the sort of strategy in developing a fan base, not just like putting out videos and all that stuff, but actually becoming something that people could follow, interact with, and like, you know, essentially, develop an audience. How did that come to fruition for you guys?
I think we took it serious from the jump, from
Okay.
the beginning. But because this is our second channel, so when our first channel got
Yeah, you guys got, okay, I remember that.
that's when we were like, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Just to see
Why
how...
did the first channel get deleted?
we don't.
We put out a video that was a prank call, and then it got flagged, and I don't know if it's still with the YouTube system or the old system, but if you got 3 flags, your account is terminated.
Yeah.
No questions, and there's nobody you can call that YouTube.
And we weren't partnered up with anybody. We didn't know anybody. We still in Atlanta. We knew, you know.
This is before they start doing a partner system.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Or it was still they were
like,
very selective,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So so we did that, and we got a flag, and then another video that it got listed for explicit content that didn't have explicit content. So we were thinking maybe somebody was false flagging something.
Yeah.
But it was just like that. It got deleted. About 200, 300 videos. Like a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Wow.
A lot of it terminated. And
Maybe like 60,000 subscribers, something.
And that's before we ever had our first million view video.
Yeah.
We had videos.
It was growing.
Like
it was
90,
Wow.
900,000.
right at the peak.
Like we had like 10 videos lined up to be millions.
Yeah.
It was like right there where you know your channel's about to just pop off.
Yeah.
Because we're getting on like World Star every
Yeah,
week.
it was rolling.
But I feel like I'm my beliefs in religion are I'm still trying to formulate my beliefs in religion, but I feel like if that was God, that was a moment where he did interact, because maybe we had some stuff that we didn't want to be represented by on that channel.
A lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people would go back now and be like, So, blessing in disguise.
It was definitely a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
After that, that's when everything really popped off, because people started subscribing so fast that that agents or the agency that we with now, they were like, "Oh, you guys have this amount of subscribers in 1 month," but literally they know we've been, you know what I'm saying, or and just people they was like, "Where are these guys coming from out of nowhere?" That's getting, but we've been around. We just started our new channel, and our fans though, the biggest help was from our fans. They rallied behind us and were like, get DT back on YouTube, and bring Dormtainment back, and so they created this whole campaign on their own that we had nothing to do with, and that's when we were like, okay, it was time to really.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of it was a rebranding. We rebranded our site. We got a new camera. All this stuff.
So in just maybe a few years, you guys now are at like 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, what's enough? 700,000 subscribers, man. That's super impressive. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
How did you guys get to that place? Take me through like what are the like 3 pillars of the strategy?
I think
to get there?
it really started when we said the workday thing.
Yep.
That's when it started, because our content started getting better. We were concentrating on like what's this video gonna be. We was racking up the hits on certain video. Well, the Straight Out Done With It video really pushed us to, because that got us on the NBC Today show and Fox News in Atlanta, and like that went viral, and and after that we released some good stuff after that. So it was being consistent.
Consistency
was definitely the key, because we would get laxed and we would go a while without one, or we would just put out something like, okay, let's just put it out. But we started putting out like banger. It was getting on World Star. It was just putting them out each week consistently, and I think that's what helped grow.
And like you said, like World Star was actually a very big
World Star,
and
I have my qualms with World Star.
Yeah, of course, everybody, and so do we. But now that it's like they put us on there, and it's once you understand it, it's hard to feel so much. Like if you just go there right now, you're gonna see a fight video with 2 black people, and it's gonna make you cringe, because not just black people are watching that.
Oh no, World Star is one of the World Star is within the top 300 websites on the internet.
In the world.
Yeah, like you think about how many websites are on the internet.
Yeah,
like billions probably. Like World Star is within the top 300. It's insane, man.
Yeah.
But
shout
also
out to Q.
They shout out to Q, because he really that gave us a boost. It wasn't the only thing, but it did give us a boost. And
our live shows helped too.
Yeah, our live shows, because
we started taking traveling, and fans who didn't know about us at the schools, they would go, because we would see tweets of like, well, I'm about to go see this Dormtainment show. I don't know what they are, but then after the show, be like, oh, I'm a fan, I'm subscribing. So that helped. That helped.
Now
too.
explain to me, what was the live show like? You know, what could people see there? Like, was it just like all of you guys on stage at once?
People never know what to expect. They think it's just a stand-up show, but it's something. It's a variety show, like music, improv.
Yeah, like we'll come out separately to different intros, and then we'll have live acts, being
videos.
Involved. Yeah, we do music, videos.
When are you guys doing another one in LA?
Well, we haven't done any in LA.
Okay.
There's a lot of it's been on the East Coast.
Okay. Y'all should definitely do one out.
Yeah, we want to do some out here, but it's just like like I said, the majority of our fan base is on. We're starting to get a lot more love on the West Coast now. A lot more love. But yeah, the live shows definitely helped, and like I said, it's like an hour and 15-minute show.
Okay, nice.
So.
You know, right now with, I think, okay, so you guys are getting to the point where, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it true that you guys can kind of already know, like, not necessarily know the key to a viral video, like you don't know when you shoot it what's going to be, but do you know like what topics, or like does music help make something spread a little bit more on YouTube when you guys do like ass on the internet, you know what I mean? Like, and even the way you guys released that, it was like you guys were releasing a record, you know, kind of like how a music artist would do it, right? Like, so yeah, how do you guys I guess determine or use that type of like past data to determine like what things are gonna go?
We knew, and then 2013 was the year of twerk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But we dropped that album at the end of 2012. So like twerk was about to hit its peak on that trend type thing. Yeah. So that helped. Let's see, and then we had the idea for the ass on the internet. We had the beat. I had the beat for 3 years. We had the idea for about.
So you make beats?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which
is a big addition. I'm sure to not have to go outside.
Me and Tate in production. We went to school for audio production.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So that when we knew,
there's little secrets to success, right? Having everything done in house.
Yeah. But we knew that. We knew that was going to be a big video, and we knew. So we held up. We said no, we're not shooting. We're not releasing the album until we get a director for this video. Until we get the money and the idea and everything set. Because we're going to release it in the summer, but we was like, nah, let's do it on Christmas. So, it was a big thing. And then that album still helps us stay afloat, So it was a plan. It was a strategy. We knew with the idea and the concept of the video, we knew that it was going to go.
So, but it seems like a lot of musical stuff travels on YouTube, and that is shareable. Like, talk a little bit about why the stuff that you guys have done, sort of like the music song stuff, has like been more popular.
Well, just because everybody. Well, I will say these guys can rap. Actually can rap, because it's like a comedy song. Yeah. But then you go to the verses and you're like, yo,
going off.
And I've been making beats since forever.
Yep.
And he's been making beats since forever. And we have a technical skill that we bring to it. It's not just like somebody playing like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a comedy song. The beats should sound cheap or whatever. No way. We actually try to produce it, and then we actually try to structure it so you can laugh, but you can ride to it. And that's our formula for going big, and then we can touch whatever topic we want to. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just with that formula.
Visuals really do. When a good visual, like when you see a video, like when you sing Gangnam Style, you just knew okay, this video is gonna go, because it's crazy. It's like there's a dance in it. Like you just know it's gonna. You just know
from concept.
From concept. So that's what. Yeah.
Nice. Talk a little bit about that. These sort of the business side of and how important it is to have these multiple streams, right? So it's you guys had an album come out. You guys have YouTube. You guys have live shows. Am I missing anything else?
Merchandise.
Oh man, I can tell you, merch has saved my life.
There
was a point last year where when I moved to LA, and I was like, damn, I gotta make this thing happen, and I was literally living off merch. So and now with the new merch that I have that's coming out, it's like I'm spending so much time with it, and I'm like about to drop like something that's gonna just like fuck the game up, hopefully. But yeah, you know, like it's super important. So talk a little bit about these, you know, making sure that the sort of like things that you're doing is wide in scope.
Yeah, I mean, well, we, you know, like it is. I feel like it's important, especially for this era, to be multi-talented. You know what I mean? So to have like different platforms. Like, okay, well, you gotta raise your technical skill in those platforms too. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, okay, I'm about to sing today. Okay, I'm about to, just because you like music. You know what I mean? Because you need to practice. You need to get better because you need to sell something of quality to people that you. So we make sure everything we do is quality. Yeah. And but you know, to stay afloat, you know what I mean, and to move up to the level that we want, we have to have income coming from different places. We can't just depend on YouTube, because if we just depended on YouTube, we will have to dilute our quality because we will need to get more hits to make more money.
Exactly.
So if we're naturally creating this stuff,
that's a great point too, man. Is you know, a lot of times, I think that happens with a lot of creatives, right? You know, you get to a point where you have to do things for money. Yeah. And then whenever you're at a situation where you have to do something for money, and you're not sort of like financially independent enough, mind you, I'm not talking about wealthy or anything like that. I'm just talking about covering bases. Yeah. It's like when you're not able to do that, and you're using your whatever creative talents you have to feed yourself and provide for yourself, and if something like doesn't go right, it's gonna like mess up how you live. Then you start doing anything. You know what I mean? Like you'll do a lot of stuff just for a check, and then like, you know, but the people that respect you and watch you and like, you know, are fans of your work can easily see that. You know what I mean? They can see when you're doing something for money. So that's super important to sort of like keep that in mind and make sure that you're like, you know, utilizing all the different opportunities that you can utilize to make some revenue. Right. So another question for you guys is, how do you now attract new viewers, right? Because you got these 700,000 subscribers. You got, you know, people on you know, individually, you guys got Facebook, Instagram, all these social networks. What is the growth strategy now for Dormtainment?
Well, the growth strategy, I feel like, is kind of, you know, staying in tune with people, seeing what they like. You know, like even to this day, we're bringing in new people because somebody screen captured a picture of Chaz passing out for one of our skits. That was from like a year or so ago. Just randomly, they just took screen capture, and now Chaz is a hood meme. You know what I mean? So like that. Wow. So like that's the way you just see him face just working in different platforms in a genuine way. You know what I mean? And then also, you know, just the biggest thing though is quality stuff. Yeah, that's the biggest. Yeah. When we make a big quality hit, the numbers go up.
Yeah, that's
first thing. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And still being consistent.
Consistency. Consistency. Yeah, man.
So there's so many new things now, right? So like, and especially I see like all these new social networks popping up are sort of like changing the comedy game. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Vine, what that has done to
the world.
It's crazy, and especially though the comedy industry. So I'll talk a little bit about how like Vine has sort of like changed your guys'
I just saw the guy from Vine, the black guy. He was in a young. It sounds like he's from Atlanta, hood as hell.
You don't know in DC. He has a DC tag in his face.
Yeah, but he dark skinned. He kind of skinnier.
He got like nappy hair.
Yeah. He always yeah. But he was in Young Thug's video.
Oh yeah.
For Stoner, and you know Stoner is a big song for Young Thug. So to put him in it, you know what I mean? Yeah. There are gaining opportunities, especially because Vine is hot. You know what I mean? A lot of people are making money on Vine. Yes. You know what I mean? A lot of people are getting bread from Vine. So,
and for those that don't know, let's explain to the people like how people are getting bread on Vine.
Well, from what I mean, we haven't been getting bread on Vine, but that's because we don't work Vine like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but Yeah, I think like I've seen a gum company pay somebody to make a funny Vine.
Yeah, it's a lot of these like sponsorship deals, stuff like that. I mean, personally, I know, man. I don't even have a big Vine following at all. I got like 2 free hotel rooms, like to do like some Vine for like a company, and I was like, oh, like damn,
but,
I need to step my Vine game up.
Vine and Vine is like Comic View. What Comic View was, It's just that back in those days, you know, like mediums for comics moves a lot slower. Comedy clubs was it for like 20 years, but now we're in a generation where things move so fast that we've had so many mediums for comedians. YouTube was probably one of the first one outside of the comedy club to say, okay, now comedians, you have another platform to perform. And then you had, you know, all these other things, and then Vine is another one that's stuck.
Yep.
So it's just like it's another platform for people to get their talent out, which is great.
But also with Vine, you got a lot of people who can be great within 7 seconds, but they start, you start getting bigger, you start getting bigger name, you put them on the stage that matches their audience, that even matches a 16th of their audience. And they outside of them 7 seconds.
It's not for everybody. I mean, and that is that goes to the sort of notion of, I think that the work shouldn't it shouldn't depend on the platform. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is that if you truly are talented at whatever it is you're doing, it should be able to shine through, whether it's on Vine, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. You know what I mean? Because I think that if it's just on one platform, it's that sort of lets you know that something is a fad or a trend. You know what I mean? And it's not really here to stay. I could be crazy. That's just my thoughts. But
I think that's. Yeah, because I mean, we were talking. We always had these talks. If YouTube stops tomorrow, we can still.
You got to think like that. Why are you guys, I guess, not on Vine more? I mean, I saw like a Vine compilation y'all uploaded one time, and that was good. I'm not on Vine like that, so I'd rather watch something like that. You know what I mean? Or get a Vine sent to me, rather than just spending all my time on Vine.
I don't think it's not that we are not on Vine like that. It's just that everyone is just on Vine like that. It's just we have a lot of things that we want to dedicate ourselves to. Getting better at writing, getting better at just being funnier, just getting better just in general. So we can't really put all our eggs into one outlet and say, all right, we just gonna be Vine. Because I feel like a lot of people who are on Vine take a lot of time out of their day to make those things popular, right? And they might do them 40 times before they get the right take, because or however they do it, if they edit it and upload it. But we can't do that, I guess. But we can find ways to still be popular on Vine,
like the Vine compilation.
That
was why we did
and
it.
Still be us. You know what I'm saying? And still and make it cross both platforms, like you said.
But I don't think we have the. We would spread ourselves thin trying to come up with a Vine every day. We already have 1,000 other things going on.
It's just too much.
You got to pick a moment and then okay, this would be a good Vine. And then
is it does this happen where sometimes it might be this is a throwaway idea, and maybe it'll go on another platform, like a Vine or Instagram?
It's happened.
We try to put our best foot forward.
Right.
So it's a throwaway idea.
Okay.
And it might have that. We might have a video with one good joke in there. Just put it on Vine.
What was I about to say? Oh yeah. About we're talking about Vine and YouTube. I think with YouTube has given it, because we try to grow to tell stories now. So we do sketch, but we also do story. Vine is much harder to tell a story, and you could be big on Vine or even big on Twitter, but kind of the medium, you can see your talents from that medium. So you might be on Vine and be a great joke teller, or on Twitter and be a great joke teller, but you try to get somebody to you should maybe. I can't say you can't hire a person who's good on Twitter for writing something, but YouTube gives us that ability to refine our stories, you know what I mean, and get better at that, you know what I mean, and get better at telling a full story. So that when we want to move up to the next platform, which tells full stories, we already have how many years of experience? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think like one of the best stories that something that I really related to you guys was a recent one. I think I was telling you this from was the
y'all trying to go out.
No, now y'all trying to go out, even though that is, that too. But even more so was living in a living room. That one, man, it's like when I showed that to my friend one time. Like after I showed it to a bunch of people, but I showed it to my friend who at the time was living in a living room, and she was cracking up. Like, it was very relatable because like that's been all of us, right? Like I mean, when I first moved to LA, I was literally like up the street from here where we're at now, and I was living in my business partner's living room, and it's just like, man, you got to deal with somebody like making eggs. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're in the living room trying to just like chill, but you're grateful because you're living in somebody's space. But at the same time, it's like, man,
it's the living room.
It's the living room.
And, you know, that's we try to be cool guys, but we don't. I shouldn't say we try, but I think we kind of consider we think we're cool. We're cool, but we're not afraid. Like cool. Sometimes, like we live in the living room. Some people ain't got beds. You know what I mean? Like we're not scared to tell, like because it's our story.
And it's authentic. It's real.
Yeah, and that's the difference between trying to go for something and then telling your own thing.
Yeah.
And then the way we structure it is kind of in a viral way. So it's like the personal but viral. You know what I mean? So
we just recently shot a web series with Comedy Central, and I think the reason they gave us free range to write it ourselves. Had we not had our YouTube and been writing stories, I don't know if they would have. I don't know if they would have trusted us to write the story and stuff like that. Because that's a big thing for a company like that to trust. Like, so y'all go ahead, you write it, and you know. Of course, and they put us with a writer as well, and we kind of gelled with him, bounced off ideas and stuff like that. So that let me know that okay, just continue. Do the stories that we've been doing and stuff like that because somebody's noticing. The right people are noticing.
How does what is that? What's the difference? I guess now when you're collaborating with an outside person and when you're working with a company like Comedy Central, what are the things you have to deal with now on a bigger level?
You just gotta remember that you're gonna have your voice and they're gonna have theirs, but you gotta find a medium. It's like okay. You might not be able to give me the best dialogue, but you can give me good structure for this for this scene. You might be like, okay, we'll put that there, or put that there. Oh, okay. And then you'll be like, okay, well, I wouldn't word it this way. Let me word it this. This is how I would say it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to work with each other like that. I think that's one of the biggest things. Other than that, that's not really a problem because it's a fresh perspective, which we need because we get only our perspective sometimes. So sometimes we got to be like, okay, let's step outside the box and see what somebody else thinking. Maybe somebody of a different race or somebody different gender or whatever. See what they might think. So that's probably we did pretty good with this web series.
And when is it coming out?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay. That's one of the biggest differences when you're not working. You have no idea what stuff.
But it came out. We had fun. We shot it for 2 days. It came out good. Nice. Everybody enjoyed it.
Nice. What are some of the things that you guys wish you would have known, like when you started, that now?
Jesus,
everything.
Everything.
Literally everything.
But you know what? That's we always had this talk because we go through stuff, man. We like that. The general tone of the group is like happy and like nobody's like really really stressed, but we go through stuff like industry stuff and everything. But I think the biggest thing is that we kind of just stay together. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, that's just it.
I think had we had this, for example, had we had the Comedy Central opportunity 2.5, 3 years ago, probably it would have been trash. And I think that's the biggest difference. We've learned our voices. We've learned each other's voices. Like we'll Tay might know how to write for me now, write for Mike, and we're learning each other. It's not just writing whatever. So I think that's the biggest thing is just that overall growth. Because I think when people get it too fast, sometimes they get it and they're like,
you don't get a chance to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You have to be coming from the right perspective, and if a lot of these people, and then that speaks to a lot of people who are on Vine and YouTube, because a lot of these people are on the internet, so they're not connected in the comedy world. So they don't have somebody to be like, hey, do this like this, do this like that. They more so have businessmen saying, hey, come here, do this, do that.
Do this for money, so we can get more views and more revenue when we tell a company to give us
and
this.
then they don't know that they may be killing their brand by doing it. They might do something that offends the world, and they don't even they're not thinking about it because what I'm saying.
So we've had the chance to make mistakes. That's why I think we've had the chance to make mistakes, and we learn fast.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't learn. We know some homies don't learn.
That's one thing with us is that we learn fast, and I've admired that about this group. We'll make a mistake, or we'll almost make a mistake, and be like, "Yo, we can't do that. We got to bounce back. We can't do that no more. We got to know about that next time."
Yep.
Which is which is what helps us every day.
What's a mistake that we've made that we can talk about?
Yeah, please. I would say though, mistakes, failures, they're not just that; they're lessons as well.
Of course. I would hope so.
But moving out here, I would say when we first moved out here, we tried to do everything.
Yeah, tried to do everything.
We tried to have.
What do you mean? LA, do everything.
As far as we were shooting a series for someone, and we were just trying to put our hands in too many pots and trying to, because we figured we're in LA, we're here to work.
Yeah.
So we just was we were just stretching ourselves too thin, and it was like that. That's the stuff that makes you. We realized real quick too. Wait, this is not good for us.
Yeah.
Because the art, the potency of the art is getting stretched out, and it's becoming watered down because you're all over the place. Yeah. You can focus on one thing and still make moves. And someone told us, we had a meeting with someone, and he told us, he was like, you can be busy doing nothing.
Oh shit! In LA, for sure.
Yeah,
I see a lot of people
just busy doing nothing because you can do all these jobs and probably get a check, but you will be in the same spot. Yeah. So we had to learn that, and we learned that very, very quick.
Yeah, at max, we try to keep it. Okay, we got 2 or 3 main things we might be working on. You can't go beyond that.
There was one time we was talking we was getting new a lot of different opportunities. And the manual, everybody was like, distractions. That's all. See, just trying to distract us from the goal, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it is at the end of the day, because, you can make $1,000 doing some boo-boo that you got to spend a week on, for some company, or you can do your own thing and make 6 stacks, 10 stacks, a month later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that's another thing I respect about this group, I got to put this out there because I think a lot of people may think that we might not. They don't see us doing a lot of collaborations. We do them though when they make sense, and that's the thing about it. They have to make sense. We're 6 guys already, so we don't need
to add other people.
It's and if it doesn't make sense for our brand, then there's no point in us doing it because in the long run, our fans are gonna look at us and be like, well, why'd you guys do that? That's not you, or why, just to be doing it. Now, if it makes sense, you come with a good idea. Then I'd rather turn it down if it's gonna hurt us as a brand in the long run. Just turn it down. There's no point. There's no point in even do it. But if it makes sense, then let's do it.
And then there's times when it comes to collaborations where the person might come to you with an idea and I don't like that one. Or you can't
be afraid to say you don't like it. I think that's what a lot of people have been afraid to say.
It might take 6 months to develop, just fill each other out, see what y'all can come up with. Yeah. And then you drop something and then bam, you got to give it time. This is art, man.
Exactly. We've done that with art. We did that one person and it was proven, and then we're Mike Cook is a director friend we have from Atlanta, and he directed Ass on the Internet. We met Mike Cook 4 years we've known Mike Cook, and he's been doing this. He's been directing since, but he knew what we did. We knew what we did, and we always stayed in contact. And we're just we need to do something. Okay, we got this idea. Okay, I'm doing something here, and then we'll go back and forth, and then finally he did Ass on the Internet for us.
And that was the first we knew it was because when we went to his house, sat down, told him the idea. As soon as we told him the idea, he said, "This the one." And that's our first. That's our first million views. It was this is the one. We knew it. It's just that energy, and I think that a lot of people missed. A lot of people think, okay, you got a lot of views, I got a lot of views.
Let's do something. Yeah.
And that's not how it works.
You collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You sit down, take a week together, sit down.
The biggest problem I think is when people even want to work with one another. A lot of people think of working together as a like a one-way street, right? So like a lot of times people will think like, oh well, I want to meet this person, or I want to work for this person, and it's like, well, what do you have to offer? You know what I mean? In that process, because like if it's just like you trying to get something out of working with them, then it's like it's not gonna benefit anybody, and 9 times out of 10 that person is gonna say no. So instead, I think people should frame things in like, I like to call them no-brainer situations. You know what I mean? Like something where it's like you present it to somebody and think about it before you even present it to them, like all the reasons that they might say no, and like have answers for that, and say no, this is why you should say yes. And like if you can't come up with those reasons, then like you probably shouldn't be working with them. You know what I mean? So,
if your main thing is like, oh well, I think I'll get a lot of views from it, then you don't miss.
No, that should not be the like prerequisite to just.
I mean, and that's good. You know, it's good to get views. Everybody wants views, but then you end up putting yourself into a position to where somebody, even on time, let's say if I'm working with somebody who's a YouTube person, you know what I mean, if you don't have a chance to bounce your energy off that person and get them to feel your comedy and their comedy, if y'all are talking, they might suggest a joke on scene. You might be like, either that is whack or that might be too offensive or go too hard, but you know what I mean? But then like you're in a position where you might not be able to say no. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you end up putting your name on something whack or something like, you know what I mean? You gotta take...
Another good example of that is Issa Rae. We love Issa Rae. She loves her. That's our dog. We were supposed to do a skit 2 years ago. Still hasn't happened, but we know when it happens.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be great. We just know it's like, it's probably gonna come from her coming over, sitting down, chilling, and we're gonna be like, there it is. There. You know what I mean? That's what it is, and I think that's the best thing about collaborating with somebody, when you both are like, that's that.
It's like with musical artists, when you see them when they work with somebody. You see them work with them again. You see them on stage. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to have mutual respect for somebody and not necessarily work with them.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, all right. So, what does the future hold for you guys? I we're talking about making sure that everything that you do is in line with the goal. Well, what is the goal for the next little bit?
To be the go-to people when you need comedy, we need creative ideas. Go to Dormtainment, a big production house, movie, TV.
If you need a TV show, you need a movie for your production studio. You need something that has to do entertainment, comedy.
So you guys you want to get into producing your own films?
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Yeah.
We're already planning that.
We want our name. We want our name. Not saying we won't do it if our name's not on it, but we would like our name because
it only makes sense.
It only makes sense. We're an LLC. It just makes sense. And I was gonna say, as far as even if you might be like, you know what, I like the way Tay wrote the Bumpy Dick skit. Let me go to Dormtainment. Hey Tay, you can write this piece for Cartoon Network for us real quick. Yeah, send it. Go. Do it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Come to us for everything. We ain't got to be in it. If you want us to write it, whatever. We can write it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And just putting out more, TV show, definitely. Working on our next album now. I'm actually making beats for it right now.
When I came in, I heard some stuff.
What else we got cooking up?
We got a cookbook.
Literally, you got a cookbook cooking up.
Breakfast cookbook.
We dropped our Lost Tapes album a couple weeks ago.
With kind of podcast style. We had the
explanations of what. I saw the video for that.
Like I said, the Comedy Central web series. We got the to be announced on that. We got a couple of skits in the can we think are about to be really good. So
nice.
There's another thing too. We'll sit on a skit for weeks, months, sometimes before we even put it out. But
either because we don't have time, or sometimes we don't have the means, or sometimes we just not time for it. Not time for it yet. So
and that's so we're the best thing I see about us is that you can see us technically getting better. You know what I mean? Through our
Yeah,
videos.
yeah.
You know, you can see us getting better. So, that's how we're becoming to be, artists at this. You know what I mean? And trying to at least come to some status of a great or somebody who, made some bomb ass stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're trying to grow to. You know what I mean?
Who's somebody that surprised you the most that watched your stuff?
We've had people tweet us before. But I don't know if they consistently watch. I'm trying to think.
I think for me, it was it's my mom.
Yeah.
It's my mom. She was like, we have a skit called the Big Skit.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. I guess she called my sister. Was like, yeah, did you see that Big D skit? My sister was like, big what? Big, like, oh my God, it's weird. To see her watch me be so raw.
Yeah. That's a part of it, man. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. I remember one time I was next to, I used to do a lot of stuff with Wiz Khalifa, and I was watching his album release party show right next to his mom, and it was so crazy, man. It was he burst in tears on the stage, but I was at the same time it was just his mom is here watching him go just nuts on lyrics, and I was like, damn, but it's that's their son's art. You gotta appreciate it, you know.
We know we got eyes on us sometimes. Sometimes people don't like to let you know. They just kind of sit back. And, They watch. They look at you, but which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. So, I remember Erykah Badu tweeted out from World Star our skit one time.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Obama follows us on Twitter. I don't know if he watches.
Obama be DMing.
Obama, what happened this Sunday?
I don't care.
Oh man. All right, cool. So where can people follow you guys? And for those that might have never heard of Dormtainment, where can they go?
Twitter, Dormtainment. Facebook, Dormtainment. Instagram, Dormtainment. It's DORMTAINMENT.
Not Dorm Entertainment.
Not Dorm Entertainment. Not Dorm Matrix.
Yo, the dude came up to him and said that it was.
He came to the mic. He was like, "Hey man, ain't you part of Dorm Matrix? Where you get an X from? You just throwing letters in there. YouTube.com/Dormtainment TV, or you can just go and try type in Dormtainment. It's gonna come up. So yeah, everything Dormtainment.
Dope.
And we try our best to release videos every Sunday at 7. We just started a recent vlog. We're about to be on volume 3 of the Comedy Trap House vlog.
Okay.
So
nice.
We gotta get you a picture in front of the Comedy Trap.
Oh yeah, we'll do that for sure. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys. For those that want to, let's see, what do I have coming up? Colors NYC. Man, these guys have been to my parties. They know.
It's fun.
I still haven't gone yet, man.
Oh, Mike, you haven't been yet?
Always.
Just me.
Oh, damn, only Rome.
Me and Manuel and Cam.
Okay, well, man, Rome, let them know. Let them know what it's like.
It's good music, good variety music. Probably the best music selection I've heard since I've been in LA.
You gotta let me DJ one.
Oh.
You DJ?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I gotta see you spin first.
Business moves. He got mixes on.
You don't have to see. I could just send you a whole.
Okay, all right.
That's a Jamaican hustler. On the podcast. Hey, man, you might put me on.
All right, bet. Send me a picture.
Well, if it means anything, my dad is 50.
His dad is my biggest.
About to be 52 years old.
Yeah.
No lie. I'm at a cookout about a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm outside. And I hear DJ Michael Anthony. I'm tripping. I think I got my phone on or something. I'm like, and my dad, he outside grilling. And I'm like, you got Mike's mix in the car? He's like, yeah, I downloaded as soon as it came out. What? Why do you have that? He's like, yeah, I like the mix. So it's
okay. There we go. All right, well, I'm going to check out Mike's mixes for sure. But yeah, for those that are in the New York area, come through. We are back at Tammany Hall every last weekend of the month. So it is May 30th. Go to nyc.mycolorsparty.com and use the promo code WordsWithFriends for 10% off tickets. All right, man, check these guys out. Dormtainment is here, and like I said, if you're enjoying the podcast, if you're getting value from it each week, make sure to support it with a tip at www.patreon.com, patreon.com/Jabari, and support the podcast so I can keep bringing it to you guys each and every Monday. All right. Follow me, youtube.com/Jabari, @Jabari on Instagram, @Jabari on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, peace.